Hey there, folks. This is Pop Culture. I'm Alex Pop, and this is going to be my last video regarding Jurassic World Dominion. Now, to any of you who may have clicked on this video having not seen any of my prior content on this channel, let me just quickly fill you in. Jurassic World Dominion was my most anticipated movie of my lifetime. My excitement was through the roof for it. I was just so hyped to see like this whole Jurassic story completed, and it turned out to be one of the lousiest finales to a really great franchise I've ever seen. It really broke me, to be honest. Now, this is a video that I was kind of going back and forth with myself as to whether or not I actually wanted to make it, because I was uncertain whether or not I really wanted to be so open about how I'm making a bigger deal out of something than it really is. However, I don't feel like I can fully liberate myself of all these feelings I've had over these last, man, it's been 4 months now. Feels like last month. Anyway, I don't feel like I can fully liberate myself without being able to get this out there, without being able to just verbalize all of this. And so over these last 4 months, there have been occasions where I've been thinking to myself, yeah, I'm getting over it okay. But most of the time, I just, the disappointment just really sinks in all over again. And every time a cast member shares a photo of themselves on set with their fellow stars, I just feel the blues, wishing that I could have loved this movie as much as they loved being a part of it. And I've been trying to talk about this movie the way I would like any other movie, like cracking jokes about it, like in all these videos I've been making about it, as well as making plenty of memes, because memes make everything better. And also that Dodson dance video, which thank you to all of you for appreciating that. I really love making people laugh, so thank you for enjoying that. Turns out when you type in, when you start to type in Dodson gets his groove on in the YouTube search window, it actually appears in the suggestions now. So I can be proud of that. But even through all of that, deep down I have felt sad. And they say that time is supposed to make everything better, but ever since that day in June, I kind of feel like time has made it worse. Like it feels like I'm still waiting. Like, still waiting for a real conclusion to this whole Jurassic story, and except now I know that it's never going to come. And during this time, to be fully honest, I haven't really felt like me. I've hardly been to the theater at all in these last 4 months. I went to see like the IMAX re-release of E.T., something that I knew would make me happy. I went to the theater like once with some friends, and but other than that, I haven't felt motivated to go to the theater and do what I love. And even on my birthday, like my dad and my sister came over to my place to celebrate, and naturally they knew that that I'd want to watch a movie or two on my birthday, and so my dad asked me what I had in mind, and I just really couldn't think of anything that I was in the mood to see. And my dad seriously thought I was joking. Like you don't know what movie you want to see? That's a new one. But it's true. And sorry. And so at a point with all this demotivation I've had to go to the movies, see anything new or watch anything old for the first time, at a point I've had to think to myself, am I really letting this get me down that much? Is my disappointment in this one movie really keeping me from doing what I love most? Why is that? And so I gave it some thought, and there are a couple of conclusions that I've come to. One is that over the last several years or so, my life has gotten kind of boring, and nothing has really gone on in my life that much. And so for a while, it seemed like this movie was the one thing that I had in life to be excited about. There were even times when I would find myself thinking in the back of my head, God, please don't take me too soon or anything. I still got this movie to see. You might laugh, but I really hate that thought has even crossed my mind. And it's also that it's also kind of what has the thing that is really the thing that made me even more excited was that it was how a lot of you found my channel. It's why a lot of you guys are following me. And let me just say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to all of you who were looking forward to seeing me give like a really joyful review of the movie. I'm sorry I couldn't do that, for real. It hurt even more just when having to ruin it for people too. I mean, after seeing it, to break the news that I didn't like it. There was one guy, a friend of mine on Twitter, when I was on Twitter. I left a little while ago, but so I write a post saying that expressing what a disappointment this was, and shortly after, this friend of mine, he tweets out, "I'm seeing some of the most die-hard Jurassic fans I know getting disappointed by Dominion. I'm seeing it in a few hours, but the hype has kind of died down for me." Yeah. And also, like, on the night I saw it, my mom also went to a screening. We didn't see it together, but we went to a screening at the same time. And so afterwards, I got on video chat with her to talk about it as we had planned. And when it turned on, I could tell that she was really excited for me. I could tell she thought for certain that I would love it. And it hurt to watch the smile leave her face as I broke the news to her. And as she heard me talk about it, and as she was watching my videos, the gist of her response was, "Yeah, you're kind of right." So yeah, that's one of the reasons that it really felt like the only thing I had going on in my life for a long time, just excitement for something this, at the end of the day, really insignificant. And yet it turned out it, it wasn't worth the wait. Not even close. And there's another thing too. The other reason why I think this is kind of demotivated me from feeling like going to the movies at all. It's that I'm not sure why it's taken me this long to realize this. I guess I just haven't thought about it that much. But it's now that I see that Jurassic Park is the reason I love movies. I mean, movies have always kind of had my influence on me ever since I was little, but I mean, like, I would after seeing Finding Nemo, I would want to be a fish keeper. After seeing Cars, I would want to be a race car driver. The list goes on. But it was when seeing Jurassic Park that it struck me just what cinema is capable of, because here this movie was taking, it seemed almost like it was taking verbatim what all these childlike images I had in my head for so long and bringing them to life in such a realistic way. And it made me want to find out more about how they did it, and now I realize that's really where my passion for the art of film began. And I can only picture I can only think about how what a passion that was for Spielberg, because I mean he was so excited about showing people these dinosaurs that he barely showed any of them in that first trailer. I mean check it out on YouTube. It's you barely see a thing of those dinosaurs. He wanted to save the vast majority of it for when people were in the theater getting this experience for the first time. And also, like John Hammond's words when he's talking about what his dream with Jurassic Park was, I get kind of the feeling that in a way those words are kind of coming from a similar sentiment as why Spielberg had this, why Jurassic Park was such a passion for Spielberg.
This place, I wanted to show them something that wasn't an illusion. Something that was real. Something that they could see and touch.
Not verbatim, of course, but I do still feel like those words kind of come from a similar sentiment. And Jurassic Park just absolutely enchanted me. I mean, taking those images I had and bringing dinosaurs to the closest thing possible, in all likelihood possible, to life, it blew me away, and it got me interested in film. And I one of the reasons why Fallen Kingdom really struck a chord with me is because I feel like it really got why Jurassic Park was so magical. It got how it felt like when it felt like as kids we were seeing dinosaurs for real. And I really liked Fallen Kingdom really got that, and I really liked seeing how that kind of reminiscence affects where these characters are in the story and why they are where they are.
Do you remember the first time you saw a dinosaur? First time you see them, it's like a miracle. You read about them in books, you see the bones in museums, but you don't really believe it. They're like myths. And then you see the first one alive.
And so I was convinced that the next movie was going to go further with visualizing my imagination, because I always had thoughts about what it would be like if dinosaurs came back into our world, what that would mean for us and what life would be like. And when seeing Fallen Kingdom for the first time, for like the entire last minute and like the first 30 seconds of the credits, my jaw was just in my lap. I mean, that, and everything was said. You had this great premise. You had these characters like contemplating how they're going to make peace in this world, with that shot of them all looking out ominously at those pteranodons flying across the sea during the sunrise, almost like they're kind of replacing the pelicans flying over the sea at the end of the first movie, obviously symbolizing the change that dinosaurs are going to bring. And all that went nowhere. Like I kept thinking, if the ride getting to this point is this amazing, I can only imagine what the ride when we're there must be like. But still, I have to keep on imagining now, because that all went nowhere. I mean, when we get to the next movie, it's just like, dinosaurs in our world, yeah, we all just kind of got over it easy enough. But, we really got to be concerned about giant locusts. Just terrible. And so, and I tell you too, I'm so pissed about being lied to all this time. I mean, with the criminal false advertising, the way they like added in and tweaked little lines of dialogue in the trailers to make us think we were going to get a movie that by all logic we should have gotten. And so, like, if you're going to advertise this movie, why not just like actually make that movie? And I mean, it's clear that they kind of seems like they knew we wouldn't be interested. I mean, heck, they're still lying about it even now that the movie is on DVD, at which point we all know the truth. I mean, like seriously, if you're that ashamed of what really goes on in your movie, it's a pretty good indicator that it needed a rewrite. I guess this kind of goes back to what I talked about in my video about Alan Grant's character in Jurassic Park 3. How when I envision something, when I have my heart set on something going as I've planned, and then suddenly it doesn't happen that way, how I can get really resentful. And so that's really just, that's why this affected me on such a personal level. I had my heart set on having like this complete story that started all those years ago when my wide-eyed mind was so enchanted, and now I was so looking forward to seeing that complete story, like always being able to have it like on my shelf, like the centerpiece of my DVD collection. But nothing feels complete. Not much, anyway. And But yeah, just not a lot feels complete. Instead of the story feeling complete, it feels like it's being left in a mess. It feels broken beyond repair. That's why I'm so frustrated. Some of you have said, like, I've heard from some people, okay, so maybe this movie wasn't what you wanted to be, but maybe the next movie or the streaming series or whatever is going to come next will be about that. But say that it is. Say that it does deal with that stuff. Is it really going to be that interesting now? I mean, the time when, dinosaurs in our world, the time when that's going to be most interesting is when it's new, when it's unprecedented, when people don't know what to make of it, and we're still trying to figure things out. Like, the time when it's going to be most interesting is when it's unprecedented. And so we were at that point with Dominion, and yet we're essentially told not to care about it. So why should we care about it later? And for that reason, when it comes to the future of the Jurassic franchise, I gotta be completely honest, I don't think I'm that interested anymore. How can I say this? Me, not being interested in the future of Jurassic Park. What kind of alternate reality have I entered? That is reality, though. And also, some of you have also asked me, as well as some people online, as well as some people in person, have asked me if I've thought about, like, writing my own alternate Jurassic Park 6, so I can give myself, like, a complete mental picture of what this movie ought to have been. And I've definitely considered, but there's just a couple of things. For one, I'm not so good with dialogue. That's kind of a thing that stood in my way also in the past. Like, I've tried writing, like, some fan fiction and whatnot, but I've always just consistently found myself at writer's block because of writing coherent dialogue, not exactly my forte. And also, it's just that, what's really the point if you can't see it? That really just goes against what made Jurassic Park so special in the first place. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Michael Crichton books are great too, but it still just can't beat that magical experience I got with the movies. That's just the kind of guy I am. I've always been one to prefer the illusion over the imagination. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I'm still thinking about it, but I know that something's got to give because it's not real. It's all an illusion. And yet I feel like it's interfering with my life as little as what's going on in my life right now, lack thereof. And so I've tried to think about how to go about this. It's been kind of hard to find a solution though, because I feel like this is kind of unique to me, because I don't know if there are that many people who have felt this personally affected by something so insignificant as a movie. Honestly, I felt silly even just trying to turn to the Bible for an answer. Sure, I'm glad that God understands us better than we understand ourselves, because you don't need to be ashamed at all when coming before God for an answer. So I searched a little bit. Most of the answers I found just kind of only involved like actual tragic stuff, like stuff that should affect people. You know, someone dies, someone loses their job. Eventually, I did come across a video that helped. It's by Kyle Winkler. I'll leave it in the description. It goes over how to deal with disappointment, whether it's major or if it's minor. And basically, it just gave just a few easy steps. Let yourself grieve, and for an appropriate amount of time. I mean, like he said, if it's, don't get so hung up on it for a year if it's something small, which that's the reason it's hard for me, though, because it felt, compared to everything else in my life, this is something that just felt so big. But he said, let yourself grieve and trust in God that somehow he's going to work in you through this. And let who you are in Christ be enough. I mean, it feels silly to talk about it this way. Let God work in you just because you're disappointed with an illusion. Anyway, I hope that now I can get off camera here feeling more relieved now that I've gotten all this out there. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you for your time very much. Thank you for paying attention. Moving forward, I do want to talk about other stuff on this channel. I do want to get back to the movies, and I'm hoping that now that I've completely gotten all of my thoughts and feelings out there, maybe I can feel more of a motivation to do so. As for the future of Jurassic Park, I mean, it is still kind of my bread and butter here. Jurassic content is it is the reason why a lot of you guys are here. So, and it is, after all, the reason that I started doing YouTube in the first place. So I will continue to talk about Jurassic stuff whenever there is an announcement and of a movie or series or whatever is in mind for the future, whenever that is in the works. And man, I hope that something happens that just changes this all around. Everything makes sense, and everything just feels, if everything feels so right again. But I tell you, it's going to take something pretty awesome to win me over again. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you look forward to future videos from me. Something more upbeat. That's a wrap. Thank you all for watching and listening, and like and share, subscribe for more. This is Pop Culture. I'm Alex Pop.